Welcome to Killik Co's podcast. Today we'll be discussing a new theme of big data. I'm joined by Nick Ziegelasch, who is our global equity analyst. Nick, why are we talking about big data today?
Well, big data is a very important theme in the tech industry at the moment. Effectively, what big data is it is data that is either large in volume, so very large data sets, or it is high velocity, so it's been generated at a very high speed, or it's varied, so it's data that's in a lot of different structures. And basically, this means it's very difficult to handle, hence the name big data. And over time, it has become easier for companies to handle these large data sets, and hence they are looking at ways of using these data sets.
Well, companies have always had big data to handle. What is making it so interesting at the moment? What are the sort of key trends?
Well, the reason that it's becoming more important now is that firstly, there's been a reduction in the cost of the computer hardware and software that you need to deal with big data. So processors have become cheaper, storage has become cheaper, and the sheer amount of volume of data that you have now can actually be cost effectively dealt with. And the other reason is that the whole mobile internet revolution is generating a lot more data as people are connected all the time. There's a lot more video being generated, and so that's driving far more data being created and being available to companies.
So companies are retrieving more data, new data about their customers. How are they able to use that data?
Well, in a lot of different ways. I mean, each industry is more able to utilize data in different ways. So, for instance, in the healthcare industry, the big data techniques are allowing the human genome to be sequenced more easily. So individuals can have their DNA sequenced as the cost comes down and effectively get to the stage where you'll be able to predict diseases occurring. In retail, customer loyalty data, when someone shops and buys with their loyalty card, using big data techniques, supermarkets will be able to instantly offer special discounts to that customer based on their past shopping history. In machine-to-machine communication, so where data is generated automatically, say for instance the McLaren F1 team is using big data techniques to get data from sensors in their car during a race and using that to make predictions about how they need to change their tactics for that race.
And so what are the investment implications from all of this big data? How can we play that particular trend?
Well, big data requires data to be looked at and stored in a different manner. So traditionally, you would think of data being stored in a spreadsheet type of format with rows and columns, but because of the sheer volume of big data and how fast it's changing, that old type of database can't really be used. So new techniques have sprung up. The problem with a lot of the new techniques is they are still very new and they are they've been developed by small private companies. So the other way to play big data is the infrastructure that companies need around it. So they need more computing power, more storage, more network capabilities. So a lot of our investment ideas are more around that side of big data.
Could you just talk us through some of the stocks that will be featuring in the note and why?
So in the note, we've got 4 stocks. EMC is the world's largest provider of storage solutions, so effectively helping companies to store these huge amounts of data now that they're dealing with. Then SAP is the world's biggest provider of accounting systems, so they develop ways for companies to access the data they have in their accounting systems and use that effectively. We also are recommending Telecity. It is an operator of data centers, so as companies need more powerful computing and more network capabilities, we see that will lead to an increase in demand for data centers. And then lastly, we're looking at WPP, one of the world's leading advertising agencies, because of the importance of marketing analytics, allowing companies to use their marketing data to advertise better to their customers.
Well, Nick, thank you very much indeed. So there it is. We have a note out on big data. We see it as one of the new emerging trends within the technology space at the moment. It's giving companies a competitive advantage, and in these more austere times, that is clearly quite an advantage. Do take a look at the note.